All right, hello there, and welcome to another Starfield recap. So, I suppose we'll get straight to the quite depressing news. There was no Starfield mention at Gamescom at all, which was quite sad. I I don't want to say I suffered through 2 days of streams. They were like three and a half hours long. I think anyone that was in the stream also, so we suffered together. But there wasn't a whole lot as an Xbox fan, like non-Starfield talk. I think the only thing that really interested me was on the first day would have been Dying Light 2. Um, and then a bit of Grounded, and then on the second day, there's like a World of Tanks game. It's kind of like could be like a hero shooter, so kind of like think like Overwatch, but like World of Tanks, where like each tank has a different ability. Kind of cool. Don't know how it'll play, but yeah. So over the course of 6 hours of live streams, yeah, it was yeah. Let's just say that apparently side scrollers are the future. Who would have thought? No, like there was no Xbox, there was there was no Halo, there was no Gears. Well, technically there was Gears, but it didn't happen. They were gonna show us how Gears ran on the new handheld, but that didn't happen. But yeah, so Bethesda the Wednesday and Thursday was the Xbox showcase, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was Bethesda showcase, but it wasn't anything really new. Um, it was essentially just, I think Fridays was mainly Doom and Indiana Jones, and then Saturday and Sunday was basically a mix of ESO and some Oblivion, and then Fallout 76. So no mention of Starfield whatsoever. I even went to the trouble. I went into the Starfield Discord, the Bethesda Discord, and I added one of the community managers for Starfield and was like, "Hello there. Just wondering if there's going to be any more any information regarding Starfield at the following Xbox showcase and Bethesda showcase and stuff, or any news at all." And I got blanked. And the thing is, it was a long shot. I didn't think they were going to reach out personally, but yeah, it's to be honest, I think it's like it. I mean, it's another kind of kick in the chest or kick in the gut. I don't know what it hurt more. I suppose the chest, kind of getting winded, because not only was there radio silence from Bethesda, seeing like other companies like or other developers talk about how like they're very communicative with their community, on like things like Discord and online, and how they're always listening to feedback and talking. It just kind of like everything felt like unintentionally a dig at Bethesda. Now obviously I know that wasn't the case, but it's just kind of hilarious that all these companies are praising the fact that, yeah, no, we listen to our fans and we're always telling them like what's going on. Like Grounded specifically, like Obsidian have I think Obsidian are kind of like Xbox's like main kind of developer this year, because they've got over Outer Worlds 2, which looks interesting. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't look interesting enough to like grab me massively, but I'll still probably play it. But yeah, so like hearing from like them talking about like Ungrounded, where they basically were talking about like all the different stuff, how like they were relying on their community for feedback and all this stuff. It was just kind of like, really, Bethesda? Like, because to be honest, as like with anything like this, when there's like an absence of talking from the developer, you have kind of like everyone in the community kind of like it kind of turns into a free for all, where you've got people dogging on Bethesda, you've got people who are defending Bethesda, saying let them cook, they're going to cook. Now here's the thing. We know that Bethesda we would assume that they are doing something because of that leak with the new like ship stuff. But like it's coming up on a year, you know, like last year they showcased the trailer for Shattered Space at Gamescom. The fact that they have not showcased the trailer means that these Shattered Space or the new expansion probably won't be coming out this year, which honestly, I was hopeful, but at the same time I was kind of on the fence. I was just hoping for some update. It's just, yeah, it's to be honest, I don't know what's going on at Bethesda because, like, I think it's been covered a few times here on the channel, but I wouldn't mind if, like, Bethesda was like this from the get-go. Like, from the launch of Starfield, they were just very quiet, said very little, you know? And then I'd be like, okay, I don't expect, but they didn't, you know? Like, they came in saying this is going to be a 10-year game, okay? 10 years. That's quite exciting when you think of it for a Bethesda game, because, like, if you think of all the other previous Bethesda games, Fallout, Skyrim, Oblivion, all three, Fallout 4, you're thinking, damn, that would have been amazing. 10 years of content for, like, Fallout 3 or for Oblivion or for Skyrim or Fallout, that would have been fucking sick. But yeah, so we've got the whole 10-year thing, and then, like, they've done their, like, their Vidocs and stuff, and they've been very vocal, very open, talking about things. And then they just go radio silent, and it's like, what's going on? Like, people have been kind of throwing around the rumor that it's Microsoft. I don't think so. I've said it a few times myself as someone who is a big, like, I've been playing Xbox from the beginning. Like, I've seen how Microsoft kind of, and Xbox in general, mishandle franchises. Like Halo Infinite was kind of Microsoft mishandling it massively. Like, I would wager that Microsoft have a very hands-off approach with Bethesda, purely because, like, they know that, like, you know, obviously not talking about Starfield, kind of, but looking more so at, like, say, Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6, like, they want that to succeed as best as it can, and, you know, don't mess with the recipe. So, like, people saying that, like, it's Xbox's fault, I don't think so. I do wonder what specifically has happened, though, because the only real kind of thing that we know, and again, a lot of it is potential rumors, but a lot of people have been saying that Bethesda weren't happy with the reaction to Shattered Space, and they didn't like that it was kind of a negative reaction to it, which, I mean, is that the reason they've gone radio silent? Like, are they really kind of triggered by that? Now, I suppose with 76, they kind of did go a little bit radio silent, but it wasn't extremely radio silent. Like, they told us that they were going to postpone, I think, Wastelanders, because that was supposed to come out. I think, yeah, they postponed Wastelanders, and then they postponed Reign of Steel. I think it's been a long time since those DLCs. So, like, it's not unheard of for them to kind of, like, you know, kind of push things forward or back. But even with 76, they were kind of talkative. See, I don't know. I don't know. I know I've been probably kind of, like, I'm very overly hopeful with Starfield. And I probably have been making you guys feel overly hopeful too, and I do apologize. Like, I think probably one of the most typed things in the chat on Wednesday and Thursday was, "Where's the ship parts?" I hope they're coming, please, Bethesda. But yeah, the only thing I will say, right, and this is we're probably sniffing some hopium. We're probably I don't know what the word is, but we're taking this hopium, like, in the rear end. You know the way sometimes, if you, with medicine and stuff, the quickest way to get through is through your ace hole. Like that one drug in Fallout 76 or in Starfield. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the one that gives you more damage. Anyway, so 76 developers around summer teased that there was going to be a massive update winter this year. and it was going to be their biggest update yet, right? Now, we got no reference of that update throughout Gamescom. The only thing that was referenced was an update coming out in September that basically just kind of changes the camp system. So that update is still to come. Now, that alone makes me think that Bethesda will probably be mentioning that at some point, and if they're mentioning that, they will probably also potentially mention Starfield. Where and when they're going to mention it, I don't really know. To be honest with you, they could definitely do their own sort of thing. A lot of people are saying that, like, we're going to get Starfield information at the PlayStation Showcase, which, see, this is the other thing I've said a few times, like, we know that it's, well, we're like 99% sure it's coming to PlayStation, and then there's more rumors it's coming to Switch. Again, don't know how true it is with the Switch 2. But I have no issue with it coming to PlayStation. I think it would be quite a cool boon for the player base to come to PlayStation. My kind of big problem is it seems like, from what people are speculating, that we're not going to be getting any new content or DLC or expansions until the PlayStation update, with people saying that the PlayStation update is probably going to launch with like a big free, content update, or the PlayStation launch will come with like a free content update and like potentially the expansion trailer and stuff. I think that would be a massive misstep for Bethesda, because it's basically kind of like a slap in the face to the people who have been playing the game from launch. Like, it essentially means, are we just beta testers here, I think at the very least, Bethesda need to give us one big update prior to the PlayStation launch, just so they can kind of show, like, look, we do care about the fans that have played the game, and are playing the game. Because if they don't, like, again, there's been a lot of speculation from people who are kind of more cynical, or probably more realistic, I suppose, that the PlayStation launch is just a cash grab, another way for Bethesda to make some more money, because they didn't make a lot of money with Starfield initially. And if that is the case, them dropping all the content, or waiting to drop all the content around that time, would just prove that it is a bit of a cash grab and that Bethesda don't care about their fan base. And that's a hard one to swallow, because I've always had faith in Bethesda. I've always been like, I've been a big Bethesda fan. Like, my two big franchises are Bethesda games and Halo. That's always been the games where, like, no matter, what they came out, I would buy them. I've bought every single Halo game and every single Bethesda. And by Bethesda, I mean every single Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and now Starfield. Obviously, I haven't bought, like, some of the other games, like, they're made by subsidies of Bethesda. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's very disheartening, because, like, for them to say nothing at all, I just don't understand it. It just, like, look, I'm not a developer, like, I'm not PR, I'm not anything like that, but, like, I've been around the block. I've played games. I've looked into kind of games. I've always been a kind of let's say an amateur developer, in that, like, I know the basics, like, I don't know, like, all the coding and all that stuff, but I kind of know the basics, like, I know the storyline, the create, like, stuff like that. So, like, from that, and I suppose anyone who plays games in general and has had an interest in, like, game launches and stuff like that, you could say the same. You'd probably have an amateur kind of, view on the game development. It just seems very backwards and, like, very very kind of against the grain. Like, for them to say absolutely nothing, like, realistically, they knew, like, with the Xbox showcase, right? They weren't there. And we watched it and were saddened at a lack of there. Now, they should have known that we were going to go in there with a lot of fans, were going to go in there and hoping, praying that Starfield was going to be at Gamescom. And they would have known that, because a lot of us Starfield fans have been asking, like, for them to give us information. So it would have been nice for them to at least have come out and just said, look, we're not, the update and content and stuff, we're not ready just yet to show you. We won't be at Gamescom. They could have said that. And Why they didn't, again, I don't know. Like this radio silence, to be honest with me, to be honest with you, like I've seen it. We had a couple of conversations in the Discord, plug in the Discord, Starfield Anonymous, hop in it. We'd like to build chips and talk about Starfield doing nothing. But yeah, like how Bethesda have chose to handle Starfield, in the last year, a lot of people are honestly taken back and feel slighted by their mentality. And going forward, I've seen a lot of people say that they're going to be looking at Bethesda titles with a level of hesitation, and I don't blame them. Like, is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be like this? Like, is it going to launch and like Elder Scrolls 6, it could be the best game ever. Like, I still have hope for it. I still think it's going to do well. But are they just going to be radio silent and then just randomly drop updates and not tell the fans and stuff, Like, part of the thing with it, and I said this in a stream, again, plug in the stream, Crimson loves plugging content. Please watch my content, please. No, I'm sorry. Like, this whole shadow dropping, it doesn't work. It just doesn't, like, yeah, it's cool, to be like, oh, it's coming out today. Like, it's cool with stuff like that. Like, generally with, like, stuff like that, that's more slated for, like, kind of, like, updates. And even then, like, it's more slated for stuff that's already kind of existing, Like, I've always been, like, with Bethesda titles, one of the things I've always liked about it is kind of, they tell you, like, okay, we've got a new DLC coming out next month. You're going to be going to Azerbaijan. You're like, hell yeah. Like, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to get my character ready. I'm going to get him kitted out for, like, the new DLC. And I always used to like that. I'm always a big fan of it. And that's kind of like, that kind of kept, like, to be honest, that kept me playing Bethesda games for, like, the longest time. Like, when Fallout 4 came out, or like, I played the crap out of it at launch and stuff, and then I kind of stepped away for a little bit, and then they released the information on the new expansion, came back in, or new DLCs. I came back in, prepared for the DLC. When the DLCs come out, I'd play the crap out of the DLCs, and then I'd kind of take a step away for a month, and then they'd release something new information. I'd come back, and, like, honestly, that's kind of what I was expecting with Starfield, and I was really excited, like, because the whole 10-year thing, it kind of screams to me that they wanted to kind of, and I've said this before, they wanted to branch into a kind of a live service game style strategy with a single player game. And to be honest, I was really hyped behind that. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, Destiny. I really liked the idea of, like, Destiny, or let's say Elder Scrolls Online, or games like that, where, the game keeps going, updates keep pumping out and stuff, and it's kind of like you're kind of in this for the long haul. And, well, to be honest, Starfield is a live service game without the content, Like, it's got the paid mods there that are making money for Bethesda. Now, obviously, it's probably not making them as much as they would like, but it's clearly making them something. So, like, that kind of takes the role of, like, the DLC, the microtransaction store, the cosmetics and stuff like that. But there's no content. There's nothing. So they're kind of just happily taking your money, our money, my money. I did a tally recently. I spent over €710 on paid mods. Good job, Bethesda. Thank you for that. Which, yeah, and, like, they'll willingly take our money, but not give us any. That's I think what makes it more frustrating, right? Because, like, with the whole paid mods thing, and I'll talk more about paid mods. To do another rant about paid mods a little bit, but, like, paid mods are, like, they're a cool, interesting way to kind of finance developers, or, like, modders and stuff, and give them the ability to make some cool stuff. But Bethesda are taking percentage of it, and for them to kind of just keep taking our money, and there's people that are buying paid mods, like, purely with the intent of, like, hoping that, like, that money is going to, well, part of it's going to Bethesda to fund the game, but they're giving us nothing. It's been a year. Like, imagine, like, playing a game, right? Like, let's say, like, imagine playing, like, Halo Infinite, which has a store, and, like, they put all this stuff on the store, like, some cool stuff, some shit stuff, and people have been buying it for, like, the best part of a year and nothing, Like, again, I hate going back to Halo, but, like, Halo recently got another biggish update, and there's probably only 10 developers working on the game. Like, it's I don't know. Like, I say this like, and it's probably going to go on deaf ears, but like, Bethesda, we care about the game. We want the game to succeed. We just want to know what's going on. You know, like, are you intending on keeping your 10-year promise? Are you changing your mind now and realizing that, you know, that's not attainable? Like, are you now like in a position where you're probably just gonna get the next expansion out, maybe give us next year worth of content, and then that's it? Like, just tell us. And specifically, if there's any Bethesda developers out there that want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me anonymously and give me some information, and I promise I will do my best to spin it in a way that won't spoil things. You know, just it'd be nice to, you know, tell the various creators of Starfield who are still here, still enjoying the game, you know, what's going on. But yeah, that's, I suppose that's pretty much it with the Starfield, or with the Bethesda news. One thing I want to talk about is paid mods. I will have a video out probably tomorrow. I'm basically going over all the paid mods and kind of giving a brief thing, but a couple of things I noticed, like in one of the videos I did last week, I reviewed a GrabJack mod by Lysoft Dev. It was basically a really, really piss poor card game. Very piss poor. And again, honestly, it was probably one of the first negative mod video reviews I've done where like the consensus was like 99% agreeing with me, because a lot of the time when I do kind of negative reviews of like mods and stuff, there's always going to be like a percentage. Usually it's like maybe like 20%, 30% don't agree with me, and obviously depending on the mod, I think that's fine. You're entitled to enjoy your shit paid mods. But yeah, like, which that kind of, again, kind of highlights the fact that, yeah, if we're all on the same fucking page here, this is a fucking bad take. But again, it's like, for anyone who hasn't seen the video, I would check it out. I think the title is this mod is abysmal, and it's the GrabJack review. It's basically, the mod author attempted to add like a kind of a card game into the game, but it's the most bare bones basic shit ever. Probably took them a few hours to make, and they're charging 400 credits for it, which is kind of fucking insane. And it's just, again, it just kind of goes back to this whole thing that, like, Bethesda, like, at the very least, if you're going to like not tell us anything about content, can you at least like monitor and like make some changes to the creations store? Because you've got like, it's each day, like, I feel like we're getting like, you know, more, well, not each day, but like each week, you know, we're getting more slop. Not all slop, so some awesome mods come out. Obviously some awesome ones come out this week, but it's just like they're scamming the fans. Like, these people who, again, a lot of them are buying this content because they're like, one, they're like, okay, you know, Bethesda's getting a cut of these profits, like, I'm hoping they're going to use that money to better the game. They're buying them for your benefit, you know? Like, and they're just like getting fucking scammed out the wazoo. Like, €4 for a really shitty fucking... Apparently the card game is called... I didn't realize. So it's based on a card game called War, where basically... Or Casino War, I think it's called. Where the dealer deals a card, and then you get a card, and you can't see your card, and you just guess whether your card is higher or lower. So it's just kind of higher or lower. I'm going to be honest with you, like I said, I don't think I would ever touch a card game like that, because there's like no real kind of logic to it. It's pure chance. At least with poker or like Texas Hold'em or like blackjack, you have there's kind of more logic to it, you know, like you see your cards, you see the dealer's cards, you know, you can make a kind of an educated guess. With poker, you know, again, and Texas Hold'em, stuff like that, it's like, yeah. Like, sorry. So like the fact that the mod author just, yeah, put that out, it's honestly, it's fucking dog shit. Like, I'm sorry, it's dog shit. And I mean, realistically, I think Bethesda need to start revoking paid modder status on certain creators, or at the very least, well, they should do that. Like, they should be limiting how much money creators can charge, because, like, looking back, I have another video in the works, and I was looking at some of previous, like, and The pricing of paid mods, like back in the day, were kind of insane. Like when they first launched, like it was kind of egregious when you think about it. Like paid modders were basically putting out content that like was over €5, and I always say like once you kind of go over that €5 mark, like it better be something quite substantial, because like at that price point, like at the fiver price point, like you can get really good games on sale. You know, you start getting to the €10 mark, you can get DLCs for other games, you know. So yeah, it's just, yeah, again, I would love Bethesda to reach out and just give us some insight on that too, because I've always been a fan of the idea of paid mods. I think it's really cool. There is some very talented mod authors who have been able to pull off some really cool stuff because they're getting money. They can, you know, focus on the content, not have to worry about, you know, like kind of like making ends meet by doing other jobs and stuff like that. But currently it's implemented. It's like half-arsed, you know, like there's some awesome mods, a lot of average mods, some very questionable mods. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This week there will be Tuesday's stream will be my kind of, you know, my usual for like from 6 till 7, so probably 7, half 7. First hour and a half of the stream will be the paid mod review live, and then after that TJ's going to jump in and we're going to play some Helldivers, and then Wednesday's stream will be playing some Helldivers because Helldivers is coming out on Xbox Tuesday, so tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. Will kind of give me something to focus on and not be constantly worrying about ship parts and future of Starfield. Might do some content on it, not really sure, but we shall see. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and I would like to say come to the stream. You know, I know that my Starfield streams get more views, but I'm still entertaining when I'm not playing Starfield. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think, because I know I think everybody probably has a lot of pent up feelings about what's going on with Starfield and stuff. Let me know what you think, and yeah, catch you in the next one. Hopefully, this time next week we might have some news on Starfield. Probably not, but maybe. Bye.